You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back. We're Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Call them at 763-441-1334. That's Extreme Exteriors, 763-441-1334. Time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can help you achieve your financial goals. New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give me a call, Tony Crockett, at New Concepts Rental Management, 952-922-2500.
Are you a volunteer in your homeowner association? Maybe a residential property manager wanting to increase your industry knowledge and obtain professional credentials in property management. Are you a vendor or professional offering services to homeowners and associations or property managers? If you said yes to any one of those questions, then join the Community Association Institute. The CAI is a great organization, helping you be informed and more proficient in your homeowner association board member or property manager role. It's also a great way to network with potential clients. For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit cai-mn.com to learn more. That's cai-mn.com. The Minnesota chapter of CAI holds monthly managers' luncheons, board member education training, property manager certification training, and much more. It also produces a bi-monthly informative magazine called Minnesota Community Living. Why not join the Community Association Institute today? You can do so online at cai-mn.com and select membership.
So, Gene, our first story was out of New York City about the FEMA trailers that can't be placed where they're needed for Hurricane Sandy victims.
Yes, for of all things, another regulation is just preventing people from being able to act, or I guess feeling that they can act, because you're dealing with a large government, a large bureaucracy, and people don't know which one takes greater authority.
Well, I think that's part of it. That's part of it. But also, my reaction to this was we've brought this kind of thing on ourselves, I think, as a society and as individuals.
What do you mean?
Everyone is ready to blame somebody else for their problems. And I think our reactions have been lots of lawsuits, lots of finger pointing, lots of problems. We know in our industry that we get more and more regulation every year about rental housing and HOA housing because one person has called their state senator or state congressman, state legislator, and complained about something and has been the squeaky wheel that has gotten everything changed. What I'm worried about, to me, that's where red tape comes from, is because one person got it in their head that they were due something or something should be different because they were unhappy with the way things were. So if we're going to, I can see FEMA placing a trailer in a floodplain and then the person who lives in that trailer trying to sue FEMA or sue somebody because they got water in their trailer. Do you know what I'm saying? They have to be so concerned about litigation and liability that more and more red tape is created, and it ends up meaning nobody can act in a practical way. Nobody can exercise common sense.
I hear where you are with that. The other part that to me seems central of what goes on, it is true in everything I've seen, and that is the larger any organization gets, the more inefficient it gets.
Yeah.
The more it becomes
That's true.
Like a bureaucracy.
That's true. Very true.
You can't help that. We are at New Concepts, we're a small to mid-sized company. But I just think of the time when we had 5 employees versus the 68 that we have now.
Yes. Was that a simpler time, Gene?
There are certain things that are in place, and just because you see things grow a little bit, all of a sudden you realize, we can't just act the way we did before because there's a protocol, there's policies, there are other things that are in place that weren't that weren't before.
Yeah.
That is true of the dynamic of any organization. The larger it is, the longer it takes. That's why take a look at military. When they want something in for a decisive action, it's not the Army. They bring in the SEALs. They bring in the Marines, the smaller unit
I see.
that can
They can react quicker.
Act quickly.
I see.
When you want to occupy something, you bring in the Army and you bring in troops.
When you need numbers.
But
Is that what
when you
you're
have numbers, and
Yeah.
you need that too, but it's a lot. It takes a lot more logistics
Sure.
to move those
Sure.
great numbers of people
Sure.
versus a smaller one.
So what could we be doing better in a situation like this, Gene, where the very agency that's supposed to respond to emergency situations cannot respond?
Well, first of all, there certainly is a place for federal government, state government, county, city government,
Right.
with all of that.
Okay.
But there is one thing that Henry David Thoreau said that I've always agreed with, and that is the best government is that which governs least. And so
Yes.
we've come to this understanding society that if anything's going to get done, it's got to be done by the federal government.
I see.
Because they're the ones that are over us all, and it makes the most sense. But when you have something like that, you're dealing with such a large behemoth organization. Things aren't and cannot be run efficiently. In a case like this, it's best, I think, for the federal government to be able to, with the help of FEMA, be able to supply resources like the trailers, to supply some ready organization to help them. But I think it's important to give that money to the state and
to manage the situation.
for the state to deal with the people in their state.
Yeah.
It will be done much quicker, much more efficiently, and but here you have this huge federal government.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in our federal government is thinking we want to deprive people in New York or New Jersey of their homes, but they don't realize, because of their fear of being able to act, fear of just having common sense,
Right.
you've got two regulations. Well, which one takes precedent?
Sure.
It was like that story we had about the service dogs. Remember?
Yes.
We
Yes.
dealt with that.
Yes.
Here was the guy who is a restaurant owner. All he wants to do is have a successful business. He enjoys creating food. He wants people to be happy, serve food. And so one person comes in and says, I've got to have this service animal.
Sure.
And then if you don't allow me to have it, I'm going to sue
You're
you
in violation
for
with the
discrimination.
ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act.
But then someone else in that same restaurant says, hey, wait a minute, I'm allergic. I have a right
to eat my meal.
To eat my meal without this. And so
Yeah.
if you bring in that dog, I'm going to sue you for unhealthy conditions, because there are health standards,
Yep.
health codes.
Yep.
And that's what happens. The larger the organization gets, you get someone who says, okay, I can fix that with a quick rule, not thinking about the unintended consequences.
Yep.
The organization gets larger and larger, and that's when you have these competing regulations that prevents nothing happening.
That's right.
And that's what
That's
we
right.
see here with what took place
This
here
situation.
with
That's
Hurricane
right.
Sandy.
That's right. I don't think there's any such thing as common sense anymore, because no one can. If anyone has it, they're afraid to practice it.
Yes, I agree. And, the problem with regulatory agencies, I've said this over and over again, these are people that are not the same as an elected official.
That's right.
If I elect someone to Congress, I elect someone to my state legislature, I know who they are. They're responsible to me and to everyone else that they
That's right.
represent. And if they are representing us, showing the common sense and everything that we need, they stay elected.
You can vote
If
for
not,
them again.
If
That's
not,
right.
they're out. That doesn't happen here with
agencies.
yes, and regulatory agencies. And so that is the issue. The other thing that I thought was just funny, another side story here, was here is a picture in the paper, and this first came out, I think, in the New York Post when it first took place. And folks, if you haven't seen it, you ought to Google it when you can. It's from, I think, November 8th. New York Post was on the front cover. And the headlines read, FEMA office on Staten Island closes due to weather. and there's
How
a
ironic.
picture. FEMA center closed due to weather.
That again, how does that help us?
Yeah, it is the quintessential picture. You don't need to say much more than that, you know. Well, hey, we need to take a break. Don't go away. There's a lot more of Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We'll be back with you on AM 1280 The Patriot after these messages.